Welcome to Witness Wednesday here on the Walk Boldly with Jesus podcast. I am your host, Katherine Duggan. However, each Wednesday, I will have a guest give their witness of how God is working in their lives. Hearing how God is working in other people's lives shows us how deeply He cares for each one of us individually. Listening to these experiences will help your faith grow. I am so blessed to be able to share these with you. Let's get started. Today's Witness Wednesday is a story I read on Facebook today. I felt it was a great example of how God works through people and brings them together in the most unusual ways. We might not always understand what God is doing or why He has brought certain people into our lives, but He always has a plan. The plan might not unfold for years, but one day it will make sense. I am sure the biker in this story had no idea his weekly visits to the children's hospital would end the way they did, but I am sure it all makes sense to him now. Here is his story. I am a 58-year-old biker named Mike. I've got tattoos covering both arms, a beard down to my chest, and I ride with my Defenders Motorcycle Club. I volunteer at the children's hospital every Thursday, reading books to sick kids. It's something our club started doing 15 years ago after one of our brother's granddaughters spent months in pediatric oncology. Most kids are scared of me at first. I get it. I'm big and loud and I look like I should be in a motorcycle gang movie, not a children's hospital. But once I start reading, they forget about how I look. They just hear the story. That's what I thought would happen with Amara. I walked into room 432 on a Thursday morning in March. The nurse had warned me, this is a new patient, 7 years old, stage 4 neuroblastoma. No family visits in the 3 weeks she'd been admitted. No family at all, I asked. The nurse's face had gone tight. Her mother abandoned her here, dropped her off for treatment, and never came back. We've been trying to reach her for weeks. CPS is involved now, but Amara doesn't have any other family. She's going into foster care once she's stable enough to leave. And if she's not stable enough, the nurse looked away. Then she'll die here, alone. I stood outside room 432 for a full minute before I could make myself go in. I've read to dying kids before. It never gets easier. But a kid dying completely alone? That was a new kind of hell. I knocked softly and pushed the door open. Hi there, I'm Mike. I'm here to read a story to you today, if you'd like. The little girl in the bed turned and looked at me. She had the biggest brown eyes I'd ever seen. Her hair was gone from chemo. Her skin had that grayish tone that means the body is struggling. But she smiled when she saw me. You're really big, she said. Her voice was small and raspy. Yeah, I get that a lot. I held up the book I brought. I've got a story about a giraffe who learns how to dance. You want to hear it? She nodded, so I sat down in the chair next to her bed and started reading. I was halfway through the book when she interrupted me. Mr. Mike? Yes, sweetheart. Do you have any kids? The question hit me hard. I had a daughter. She passed away when she was 16. Car accident. That was 20 years ago. Amara was quiet for a moment. Then she asked, do you miss being a daddy? My throat tightened. Every single day, honey. My daddy left me before I was born, she said matter-of-factly. And my mama brought me here and never came back. The nurses say she's not coming back ever. I didn't know what to say to that. What do you say to a 7-year-old who's been abandoned while dying? Amara kept talking. The social worker said I'm going to live with a foster family when I get better. But I heard the doctors talking. They don't think I'm getting better. Sweetheart. It's okay, she said. Her voice was so calm. Too calm for a 7-year-old. I know I'm dying. Everyone thinks I don't understand, but I do. I heard them say the cancer is everywhere now. They said maybe 6 months, maybe less. I set the book down. Amara, I'm so sorry. She looked at me with those huge eyes. Mr. Mike, can I ask you something? Anything, honey. Will you be my daddy until I die? The room went still. Even the monitors seemed to hush. I felt every one of my 58 years settle on my shoulders like lead. I opened my mouth, but nothing came out at first. All I could see was my own daughter's face at 16, laughing in the rearview mirror the last time I ever saw her. All I could feel was the hole that had lived in my chest ever since. Amara didn't blink. She just waited, small and brave and impossibly calm. I wanted to say yes. God help me, I wanted to say yes so badly my bones ached. But I was just a ruffled biker who showed up once a week with picture books. I rode loud, drank hard, and woke up still at nights yelling my daughter's name into an empty house. What did I know about being anyone's father again? Even for a little while. I swallowed the rock in my throat. Honey, I'd be honored, but I gotta be honest with you. I'm not very good at this daddy thing anymore. I might mess it up. Her whole face lit up like sunrise. That's okay. You can practice on me. And just like that, I had a daughter again. The nurses cried when I told them. The social worker cried harder when I said I wanted temporary custody, medical guardianship, whatever paperwork existed that would let me take her home if she ever got strong enough, or stay by her bedside every single day if she didn't. The club showed up in force, 25 Harleys rumbling into the hospital parking lot, scaring the security guards half to death until they saw the stuffed animals strapped to every bike. We turned room 432 into something that didn't look like a hospital room anymore. One of the guys brought a pink bedsheet set his old lady had bought by mistake. Another brought a tiny leather vest with Daddy's Girl stitched on the back. Somebody hung fairy lights. Somebody else smuggled in a puppy that definitely wasn't allowed, just for 10 minutes. But Amara laughed so hard she had to go back on oxygen. Every Thursday became every day. I read her the giraffe book until we both had it memorized. Then we moved on to Charlotte's Web, then Harry Potter. When her hands got too weak to hold the book, I held it for both of us. When the pain got bad, I climbed into that little bed and let her fall asleep on my chest while I hummed Johnny Cash songs my daughter used to love. The doctors kept shaking their heads, saying they couldn't explain it. Her scans weren't getting better, exactly, but they weren't getting worse as fast as they should have. 6 months became 9, and 9 became a year. On the morning of her 8th birthday, Amara woke up and said clear as day, Daddy, I dreamed I was running. My legs worked and everything. I kissed the top of her fuzzy head. Then we're going to make that happen, baby girl. 2 weeks later, the oncologist called me into his office, eyes wide, holding films up to the light like he couldn't believe what he was saying. The tumors in her spine, they're shrinking. He stopped and cleared his throat. We're seeing significant regression. I don't know how to explain it. I know. It was love. Plain, stubborn, loud, tattooed love. 18 months after the day she asked a scary biker to be her daddy. Until she died. Amara walked out of that hospital on her own 2 legs, holding my hand, wearing her tiny little leather vest, and grinning bigger than the sky. The club threw her a welcome home party that shook the neighborhood. There were ponies, there were bouncy castles, there was cake the size of a Harley wheel. And when the sun went down and the fire pit was roaring, Amara climbed into my lap, looked up at the stars, and whispered, Daddy? Yeah, baby. I don't think I'm going to die for a long time now. I held her tight enough to feel both our hearts beating. Good, I said, voice cracking like an old man's should, because I'm just getting started being your dad. She's 15 now, still cancer-free, still calls me daddy every single day. still sleeps in the same pink bed sheets we took from room 432. And every Thursday, rain or shine, we ride back to the children's hospital together. Me and my Harley, her on the back, holding on like she's been doing it her whole life. And we read stories to the new kids who are scared and hurting. Because some things are worth more than the years you get. I am so grateful that this man said yes to the little girl's question and that God brought them together. I am grateful that God is in every situation and then he saved both of these people from all the loneliness they were feeling. I'm grateful to God for Amara's miraculous healing. God is so good. He is in every situation. If you can't find the good in your situation, that means God's not done yet. We have all seen God working in our lives. However, we might not all be aware it is God who is working in our lives. This is why it's so important we start talking about it more. The more we share our experiences, the more people understand how God works and how much He truly loves us. If you would be willing to share any of your experiences of how God has worked in your life, please email me at Catherine@findingtruenorthcoaching.com. CATHERINE at findingtruenorthcoaching.com. Or you can click on the link below. It won't take up much of your time, and your story could be just the story someone needs to hear today. Please prayerfully consider sharing your story. Everyone has one, and the world needs to hear them. I look forward to spending time with you again tomorrow. Remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I. I will have another witness for you next Wednesday. Have a blessed day.